And g'day, I'm Benjamin Morgan, the Chief Executive Officer of the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association of Australia, and I'm joining you via Facebook Live to give you a very quick update on the situation which is unfolding with the aircraft ban that's been put in place by the Diamantina Shire Council for the Birdsville races. Unlike previous years, this year and beyond, the council have moved to prohibit the aircraft camping on the airport site, having stated a range of safety concerns and also cost concerns on the issue. Before I dive into the update today, I'd like to just extend a huge thank you to the 1,700 plus who have already responded to the AOPA petition calling on the council to rescind this ban on aircraft camping. This petition is incredibly important because it's going to help us communicate to the council and also communicate to our Queensland senators and also our state and other state and federal representatives the weight of support that exists within the aviation community to keep aircraft camping available at this fantastic event. If you have not already signed this petition, I do invite you to jump onto the AOPA Facebook feed, www.facebook.com/AOPA Australia, and to fill out that petition, share it, put it onto your own timeline and encourage others within your own interest groups to get involved. It is a very important function. I do thank everybody again for participating. We want to see if we can get that number up around 2,500 to 3,000 recipients over the next couple of days. I think we're going to get there quite easily, but let's everybody do our part. It takes 5 seconds to put your name in there, to put a comment of support and to show the council what it means for our aviation community to be able to continue to camp and enjoy the amenity, the recreation and the utility of our aircraft. So an update for everybody today is I've had an opportunity today to speak to the Diamantina Shire Council Chief Executive, Mr. Leon Love, about the situation that's unfolded there at Birdsville and a possible way that we can move forward. And I would like to publicly thank Leon for the opportunity to have what was a very open and broad conversation about the challenges that are facing both the council and now also our aviation industry. And also just to convey clearly that we understand the challenges that lay before local councils in running these airports. And I would like to reaffirm what I have already communicated to Leon, which is that the aviation community in many respects feels the pain of local council because the federal government handed these airports over to local councils for them to be managed, but have made no provisions for federal funding for what is our national aviation infrastructure network. And we're now, unfortunately, several decades into airport privatisation, we're starting to feel the direct and measurable impacts, in many cases the negative impacts, of what a lack of federal funding is doing to our airport networks nationwide. If you're a capital city privatised airport, you don't have a problem. You've got a captive market. You can, in many cases, gouge domestic and international passengers and gouge domestic and international airlines into paying those fees and charges so that you can fund those airports. And I think I share probably the frustration of many within our aviation industry that it's almost disgraceful in some respects how much money these airports are making at the hands of captive customers. They are a monopoly. But for local councils, small communities that are located beyond the Great Dividing Range, these are small communities trying to afford to run airports that have significant costs. And as I've learnt today, in the situation of Birdsville, we have an airport that even the one airline that is actually servicing that location, even they too are placing pressure on the council to upgrade the airport beyond what the airport can physically afford, simply to satisfy their operational needs. So these are great challenges. There's no easy fix for any of this. And the general and recreational community is by far, or was clearly caught in the middle of the crossfire of these competing problems. Suffice to say that now we can't camp with our aircraft. And so this stems from the fact that we have an airport at Birdsville that is subject to being a security controlled aerodrome. And once again, we hear the ASIC card bearing its ugly head for everybody to see that we have a regional airport that's trying to make the situation work, but because of the constraints of being security controlled and the onerous and costs and the imposts of the excess regulation around this ridiculous security card that does nothing and produces nothing, the council's stuck in a bit of a jam. I understand a lot of people have gone through the council minutes as we did. We've looked at the situation in which the council have employed a consultant from the Gold Coast, Platinum Aviation Consulting, who've received around about $60,000 for their efforts at the airport. I'm not going to make too much comment on that right now, other than to say that it's just a ludicrous sum of money. And there is no future for any local council in employing these consultants. And I would put this loud and clear message. If you're a local council and you have aviation concerns at your airport, contact AOPA Australia. Give us a call, 02 979. I'll put the number out there time and time again. Call AOPA. You will not need to pay us tens of thousands of dollars to give you good, sound advice on how to make your airports work and be compatible with recreational and general aviation. The old saying that a consultant will tell you what you pay to hear. And I think if we were to delve too far into Platinum Aviation Consulting's reports, we're going to find that those reports are there to justify the fees that were paid and nothing other. But the conversation that I had with Leon today is a great conversation, because I've put forward to Leon that the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association, along with the Sport Aircraft Association of Australia, would like to pursue some meetings. And we've put forward a solution that AOPA and SAAA would step into the breach, so to speak, and that we would work in partnership with them to get rid of the consultant and to find a way in which the aviation industry can work with the council, and that we can harness the enormous body of talent within the aviation industry and from within the volunteering community to meet some of these challenges, so that the airport can be available for the aviation community during the Birdsville races and any other event. And one proposal that we're looking at the moment is the possibility of establishing Ausfly Birdsville. And instead of hosting our Ausfly annual fly-in at Narromine in September, instead moving our fly-in to Birdsville in September and going out and working with the council and the local community to support that event, bringing with us our volunteers and our support mechanisms, and moving our Ausfly event from September across to potentially Easter. So we have two Ausfly events run and hosted by AOPA, SAAA, GFA, and our other partners. And to this end, I picked up the phone today and I contacted Matthew Boutell from the Recreational Aviation Australia, and I've invited the CEO of RAOS to come in on these discussions with AOPA and the SAAA, and to find a way in which the recreational sport and general aviation community can work together in helping provide a viable long-term solution for the Diamantina Shire Council and also the Birdsville races, so that we can protect this event for the aviation community. So it's very early days at this point in time, but we are actively reaching out and pursuing those conversations. In parallel to this, I'm also reaching out to Queensland senators for their assistance in trying to place some pressure. And also, I've offered our assistance in working with the Shire Council in reaching out through the Queensland Local Government Association and their conferences to start building some greater awareness of the challenges around funding these local council airports, and the fact that local councils and the recreational and general aviation industry actually have more in common than we have in difference. And that if we work together on these issues, there's no reason as to why we can't come up with a viable pathway to see the federal government contributing towards the cost of running these essential national airport infrastructure on behalf of the people of Australia. And so I wanted to give everybody an update today to let everyone know that we are continuing. It's a multifaceted advocacy approach on this. What we're doing is we're going to continue to pursue a direct line of communication with the council. We're going to seek to establish a working partnership between AOPA, SAAA, and hopefully RAOs if we can make that happen. And it's certainly an open invitation. I encourage their full participation, and the Diamantina Shire Council, so that we can understand these problems and help them respond to these issues. The second thing we're doing is to work with the council through the Queensland local government bodies to attend their conferences and to start an open dialogue with other councils in the region to start building a stronger coalition of support, bringing into that the support of the Queensland senators, which we need to apply pressure on the federal advocacy issue. And the third thing that we're doing in this is continuing our work through our public petition to show that the aviation industry has a strong arm of influence in all of this and an interest, so that both the local, well, actually all three, the local, state and federal politicians all understand that this is something that we as an industry want to achieve. So this is the great work that AOPA Australia does. And the reason I'm giving you this update and I'm trying to shoot a few of these videos is to give you all an insight into the work that goes on inside of AOPA Australia when we advocate on issues. I know there's a perception out there that AOPA is involved on simply on CASA issues. We're involved in a great deal more than that, but we're also a very good advocate in representing our aviation industry. And I just want to open the doors a little bit and allow everyone to see the processes that are involved. If any of our members or industry supporters have any questions on what we're doing in relation to the advocacy on the aircraft camping at Birdsville, I invite you to post your comments on Facebook and also to send me an email. You can do that by contacting me at ben.morgan@aopa.com.au, and I'll be more than happy to respond where I can. So that's where we're at as of today. I will publish a copy of the letter that we send through to the council a little bit later via our social feeds so that people can read the position that we're putting forward. I extend my thank you to the Sport Aircraft Association again for their ongoing partnership. It's great to have the support of the Sport Aircraft Association and their members when we're out advocating for a strong future for aviation. And I also thank Matthew Patel today, CEO of RAOS, for the opportunity to discuss this issue with him. We will in fact be doing a Facebook Live tomorrow night at 7 p.m, relaunching our news and discussion series panel talks. And I've invited Matthew to join us on that conversation, and hopefully he'll get the green lights to do so. Tony White from the Sport Aircraft Association will also be joining us. Along with them, will also be some local businesses from Birdsville and some other parties to share their insights. So thank you everyone again for your continued support of AOPA and your interest in this particular issue. Again, jump online, fill out that petition, stand with us as we push forward for the rights of the aviation community, and I look forward to giving an update in the next couple of days. So thank you.